This tutorial is on naming ionic compounds with multivalent metals. When naming ionic compounds with multivalent metals, such as copper, iron, gold, cobalt, chromium, you must include a Roman numeral in the final name. If the metal has only one ion charge, a Roman numeral is not needed, and if you include it, it's going to be incorrect. So the steps are: write the name of the metal, note if it's multivalent, and if the name is multivalent, write the two possible ion charges. Next, write the name of the nonmetal, change the ending to IDE, and write the ion charge. Determine the correct ion charge for the metal and write the corresponding Roman numeral in the name. So we'll go through several examples and they'll get a little bit harder as we go along. The first one's HgCl. If we look at the periodic table, Hg is mercury and can have a possible charge of +1 or +2. So we'll write mercury, and the possible charges are +1 or +2. Then we look at the nonmetal, Cl. Look at the periodic table, -1. So we write chloride. We change the ending to IDE, and we're going to write the symbol down at the bottom here. So if you look at the formula, there's one chloride ion, has a charge of -1, and the mercury ion can have a charge of +1 or +2. So if we look at the ratio of those ions, what will balance this -1? Well, 2 is not going to balance. +1 balances. Seems pretty easy. We write in here what the ion charge was that we used, which is +1. We're done. Let's do another one. FeO. Look at the periodic table. Fe, it is multivalent. We're going to need a Roman numeral. It can be +2 or +3. It's called iron. So we write iron. And the possible charges are +2 and +3. We look up O. Oxygen -2. You'll notice all the nonmetals have only one ion charge. So we're going to write not oxygen but oxide. We're going to note what the ion charge is. The charge on oxygen is -2. So we have a choice for iron, +2 or +3. What will balance the -2? Well, seems pretty obvious, +2. And we write that ion charge as a Roman numeral in the name. Final answer, iron 2 oxide. Okay, let's look at the next one. AuI3. Au is gold. Can have a charge of +3 or +1. It's got to have a Roman numeral in its name. So we'd write gold. Possible charges are +1 and +3. Then the second element, iodine is -1. Change it to iodide, and I is -1. Now you'll notice we haven't done one with a subscript yet. So there's a little 3 there. So if you remember what the 3 means, it means that we have 3 iodines, each one with a charge of -1, which means the total charge on the nonmetal side is -3 because we have 3 iodines. So now we have to decide how many gold do we have. We only have 1. What will balance -3? Well, it's going to be +3. So the Roman numeral we write is 3 because that's the ion charge we used. Final answer, gold 3 iodide. Okay, let's do 2 more. Fe, iron, +2 or +3. Iron, Fe, choices +2 or +3. S, sulfur -2. We change the ending to sulfide. -2. So you might want to say, oh yeah, -2 plus 2, they balance out. But wait a second, we got to look at the ratio here, the little subscripts. The 3 there means that we have 3 sulfurs. Each one has -2. 3 sulfurs, each with -2, total charge -6. So if the total charge on this side is -6, the charge on this side has to be +6 to balance. How many irons do we have? Well, we've got 2 of them. So if we look, our only choices are iron can only be 2 or 3. So if we put a 2 in there, we'll have 2 and 2, that'll be 4. That won't balance out, but 3 will. The ion charge for this formula, Fe2S3, has to be iron 3 sulfide. Okay, so for this one we had to do a little bit more work, and as you get faster you might not have to show all your steps. Final example, Hg2O. Hg, periodic table, mercury +1 or +2. Mercury, we'll show our work for this one underneath. It can be +1 or +2. O is oxide. We remember that now. O is -2. So we go to our formula and say, how many oxygens do I have? 1. So the total charge is just -2. This side will have to be +2 to balance out. How many mercuries do we have? Well, we've got a little subscript of 2. So we've got 2. So if we look, the charge on this on the metal side has to add up to 2. If we put a 2 here, you'll have +2, +2. That's not going to add up to 2. It can't be 2. It has to be 1. Mercury +1, mercury +1, total charge is +2, which balances the 1 oxygen on the other side. So, Roman numeral that we use, 1, because the charge on mercury is 1. Sometimes students see this little subscript 2 and they just want to take a shortcut and put a 2 in there, but that's not going to get you the right answer. You have to go through and figure out which ion is used. All right? So, here's some skill testing questions. Show your answers to the teacher and pick up an assignment. Give you a little hint, you only use a Roman numeral if the metal has more than 1 ion charge. Otherwise, you don't need a Roman numeral, and if you add it in, it's incorrect.